No, I'm not surprised because I know that midterm elections are coming up, and I have been predicting that the attack would increase as we go into the elections because this whole so-called voter intimidation controversy is just a tool by the Republicans. These new so-called civil rights Republicans that are suddenly fighting for civil rights, laugh out loud, are now all on the backs of the new Black Panther Party as we go into the election season. So I expect to see ads featuring the new Black Panther Party and further allegations against us because they're at war with Obama and the Justice Department and trying to bring us down.
You got me. You got us. That's all we've been trying to do is bring down the Black Panther Party. Yeah, we've just been praying for that opportunity, really, just down on our knees every day, praying for the opportunity to senselessly attack the always relevant new Black Panthers. Finally, we were able to dredge up this 2-year-old story on the silly basis that the DOJ dropped a slam dunk case against them. Not 2 years ago, but Tuesday. This story was given legs when the former DOJ attorney J. Christian Adams testified. See, he quit his job because something was wrong. And so he testified that the department dropped the case partly because it refuses to go after black defendants in civil rights cases. Why would anyone make a big deal out of that? Why would anybody cover that? Or cover the party member, one of the defendants saying that to get freedom, blacks should kill some crackers and their babies. I can't imagine why we were covering that. I'll tell you one thing. I've never seen media, taking somebody's language and then doing hours and hours and hours on how they're inciting violence. They never do that. They never cover hate speech. They never cover hate groups. They wouldn't accuse people of that ever. You're right. Of course, then again, we did have the Lindsay Lohan crying in courtroom scene. Did you hear she wrote something on her fingernails? I saw it on MSNBC. Hey, MSNBC. I wonder why I don't have any ratings. Maybe because you're not covering anything that anybody wants to watch. Maybe because you're talking about Lindsay Lohan and she doesn't affect anyone's life. And there seems to be some pretty big issues there. The rest of the media ignores these stories. Oh, who ignored that story? Well, just so you know, only the Washington Post, the Boston Globe, NBC Nightly News, ABC News, and CBS Evening News. But that's it. Everybody else covered it. Yeah. Yesterday, Obama did an end run around Congress, ensuring that there would be no hearings for his appointment of Director of Medicaid and Medicare. Yeah, he used a recess appointment to install another Harvard socialist, an anti-capitalist, and a radical. No. Oh, boy. I shouldn't call him a radical. Unless I had him, in his own words, see, I smell another Van Jones. Oh, I can't wait to show you this later on in the program. Anyway, his name is Donald Berwick. At the White House press briefing yesterday, a reporter from CNS News had the audacity to dare bring up Berwick's solidly anti-capitalist ideology with spokesperson Robert Gibbs. And Gibbs shifted right into high deflect and redirect gear instantly. Watch.
Look, this is somebody who is uniquely and supremely qualified to run an agency.
It would have been politically troublesome in an election year to have all these comments aired out about rationing, redistribution that Dr. Berwick had talked about in the past.
Is there like a secret comment book that somehow you got that nobody else got and you just read a couple of them to me and somehow they wouldn't have come out? Did he say things like rationing happens today? The question is who will do it?
Look at his eyes.
Did he say that? Did he say that?
That was one comment. The
Actually,
comment
that was
I just
Paul
read-
Ryan. That was
Oh,
Paul
okay.
Ryan.
Okay.
He's a
The
Republican in
comment-
Congress.
Yes, but
Go talk to Paul Ryan, and I'll be happy to take that question at a later date.
Okay. The always glib, ready to insult Robert Gibbs. Did he say things like, rationing happens today? The question is, who will do it? Who will do it? Will we do it with our eyes open? Yes, that's exactly what he said. In fact, let me give you the exact quote here. Bobby, the decision is not whether or not we will ration care. The decision is whether we will ration with our eyes open. Now, the fact that Congressman Ryan said something similar doesn't make it okay. Bobby, did mommy not tell you that if your friends jumped off a bridge, you shouldn't do it too because everybody else is doing it? You're going to get a bad boo-boo if you follow everybody off the bridge. In fact, if Congressman Ryan said that, I wouldn't want him as the director of Medicare either. As for Gibbs' question to the CNS news reporter, Fred Lucas, is there something like a secret comment book that nobody else got? Let me help you there too, Bobby. Okay? There's something called television. Yeah? You're watching it now. It's not a evil little magic picture box. It's television. It's radio, and then there's internet too. And sometimes people use these magic recording devices to be able to hear what someone said or see them at a later date. Now, some might say that the White House spokesman is a smug, condescending jerk. But then again, some might say I am as well. Meanwhile, as an admirer of Britain's single-payer system, we found this in our secret code book. The system where patients wait twice as long in England to see a specialist than in the U.S. The system where the death rate from prostate cancer is 600% higher than here. Berwick said this.
Any healthcare funding plan that is just, equitable, civilized, and humane must redistribute wealth from the richer among us to the poorer and the less fortunate. Excellent healthcare is by definition redistributional.
Do you have like a secret book with all this stuff in it? No, I just do my homework. But will the ever glib Gibbs ever actually address what anyone actually says? No. Why? Saul Alinsky, you attack, you marginalize, you mock. That's what he's doing every day. You attack the person who dares bring up anything uncomfortable to this administration. As I pointed all throughout the healthcare debate, I told you this so-called reform was nothing but redistribution of wealth. Rationing was coming. I was called a paranoid lunatic for saying it. Well, now you've heard it from Obama's hand-picked appointee to head up that program. Now, here's how the website Mediaite concluded their coverage of the exchange yesterday. The lesson? Robert Gibbs won't entertain baseless questions from reporters who haven't done their homework. Who hasn't done their homework, Mediaite? Who? And when he does, he makes enough an example out of them to keep the rest of the press corps, not corpse, corps on their toes. Let me ask you, what baseless questions? Berwick did talk about rationing and redistribution. Hardly baseless. When will someone make an example of the press? When will someone make an example of Robert Gibbs? By calling them on the fact that every single time he's challenged, Gibbs, the only response is, well, the Republicans did it. We get it, Robert? Socialist, progressivism, both sides of the aisle. We're on the same team on that one. Progressives, both sides of the aisle. That doesn't make it okay with the American people who would like a return to American values. That is the change that all of America was looking for. But we don't see anyone in the media pointing that out. They're still working on ignoring, deflecting, and redirecting. Oh, but the Republicans. Tonight I want to show you a fascinating phenomenon. I want to show you how the Russian media is portraying some of America's biggest stories right now, because our media is not covering them, but somehow or another, the Russian media is. We showed you this, the Russian media, Russia Today. They just did a interview with the new Black Panthers chairman, Malik Shabazz. RT is the state-run, English-speaking Russian channel. It's kind of like Al Jazeera.